Well, good evening, my stamping friends. I am a few minutes early, so I'm just going to hang out here, let you take a look at the host code, and hope that your day was a little less gray than mine. It wasn't an all-out washout, it just wasn't very pretty out, but, you know, these things happen. Just is. But I did look out in my backyard and I do have one of my sunflowers making a blossom. So it's actually started to open. So that's very cool. I'm hoping with a little sunshine over the next couple of days that maybe it'll really open up. And maybe a couple of others will as well. So that would be fun. Especially since that's what we're playing with tonight. Hang on. Oh, somebody found me real quick. What does my watch say? It says we still have 1 minute. It does. So anyway, I have moved my filming station for today. Just because, if you could see this setup, you would laugh. But anyway, I am working on trying to make sure that the camera doesn't jiggle a whole lot while I'm demonstrating a couple of things tonight. So hopefully, fingers are crossed. Oh, while we're just waiting, because now it really is 7 o'clock. But I'm going to run over here and grab my baby wipes and a towel, because I'm going to need those a little bit later. All right, so here we go. It is 7 o'clock, and this is my August host code. And if you're catching me live, it is Tuesday, August 15th, and it is 7 o'clock p.m. because that's when I go live, or I try to every week. Whoops, let's turn this. So we are not quite halfway through the month. Well, actually, we probably are, because like halfway through the day, you know, because you have 15 and a half days in August, because we have 31 days. So anyway, we're about halfway through the kit sale. So if you haven't, and the bonus days, so if you earned bonus days rewards coupon codes, you need to find them in your email and you need to use them. And why not use them on something that's already discounted, which makes it even more of a discount, right? Anyway, all the kits are on sale. This is a great time to grab your favorite or try something new, okay? All right, so I don't know if you all know this, but there is a stamp show that happens down in Springfield, Massachusetts in the beginning of June, usually the first weekend of June every year. And I went down. I go sort of to poke around, sometimes to look at other things, whatever. This year I went down and was able to, did it go this way? I think I cut it this way. And I was able to use these beautiful, beautiful multi-layered, I mean, there were probably 6 or 7 layers of stencil to make these beautiful sunflowers. And then I cut them so that I could make these 2 slimline cards. I cannot tell you how happy I was when I opened up the September to December catalog, which looks like this and should be arriving if you are a regular customer of mine. These should be arriving in your mailboxes in the next probably week or so, maybe 2 weeks. If you still need one, please let me know. And I have some more coming from Stampin' Up. But anyway, just so you know, when you open that up, which I can't do yet, you will find on page, did I write these down? thought I did. Hold on. I thought I wrote this down. And now I can't find the sticky note that says, well, oh, was it this one? No. Oh, rats. Well, anyway, maybe I put it on one of these. Nope. Nope. All right. Well, anyway, there are these beautiful, well, you don't see, they don't look so beautiful here, but let me grab, See, everything's moved around and I can't find the things that I want. I was looking for, it's buried under a bunch of stamp pads. Here we go. Hang on. Sorry, you guys. I really thought I was organized. But I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stamp pads and a bunch of blending brushes over there. A crazy mess. Anyway, so there's a pack of, it's actually 7 stencils. Okay, so let me show you. So one is snowflakes. Okay, so I refer to these sometimes as stencils. Stampin' Up! Calls them masks for some reason. Probably because you're masking off some cardstock, but most of us, I think, refer to these where we're putting color through them as a stencil. All right, so we have the fall leaves. Oops, probably should go that way. The snowflakes, the fall leaves, and this houndstooth pattern. Okay, so those are just, you can use them for backgrounds or something, and let me show you what I did with a couple of those. All right, so I did that, and this one opens like that. Are you seeing a couple of other little sneak peek things? Yep, they're there, and some annual catalog things as well. All right, so there's that, and then this one I used with ink. Okay, so I stenciled in Lost Lagoon on Pool Party cardstock, and I left it open like this, and then put a post-it note across the top here so I wouldn't get any ink going that way. All right, so there's that one, and you can also use it with the embossing paste. So this has some embossing paste. It also has these cute little adhesive backed snowflake assortment, which are part of the online exclusive. So I'm just going to set that over there. I think that's still in camera range. If it's not, I'll read you the item number a little bit later. And then I just added some iridescent rhinestones to that. All right, so that's those. Okay, but what about the other 4? Okay, the other 4 are all have this little notch, and they also have a number. The number is sort of important for some of these and not so important for some of the others. Okay, so this is obviously the one that's going to give you the blooms, the flowers. Okay, that's labeled as number 1. And then there is the leaves labeled as number 2. And I'm going to show you something, and I'm going to tell you that this is the one stencil you don't need to use in order, and you don't need to use it lined up with the little V. Okay? And I'm going to show you that. All right. So then 3 is the centers. And then there's a detailed center, number 4. Right? All right, so let's take a look at a little of the work I did this afternoon, and then, oh, I don't want those that far away. Okay, I can put them here. And then I will show you some options that you have, and then we'll make one real quick together, okay? All right, so I played around kind of a lot this afternoon. So this one is just Daffodil Delight ink for the blossoms and just pecan pie for the 2 layers of the inside. Okay, so some dark and some not quite so dark, right? But that's just one color. I didn't use a second brown, okay? All right, so let's tuck that over there. So that's only daffodil colored ink. Then I went, well, that looks kind of flat, and in nature, when I go outside to look at my sunflowers, they are not flat, and they're not all one color. So I added this. So I did the daffodil, and then I did some crushed curry. I just didn't take the crushed curry all the way out to the edge, okay? I stayed in about halfway, okay? So you've got a little bit of contrast there on the petals, all right? And then still just the one color brown. And I'm not loving the detail, okay? I'm working on it, but it's not my favorite. All right, so let's tuck that over there. So then I played and added a little pumpkin pie. I added some leaves. These are in Parakeet Party and Granny Apple Green. Okay. I ended up changing my leaf colors because these look like very spring green, like new leaves, and the sunflowers do not have, at this point in their lives, they do not have new leaves that are this light color green. The leaves are a deep, deep green. So how did I get this really pretty contrast? Okay, so this is 3 colors. Daffodil Delight, and then I went out a little farther with the crushed curry, and then I tried to stay really close and in, and so instead of using a large blending brush, I used a small one with pumpkin pie and stayed pretty close to the center, okay? Now, these leaves clearly do not line up with those leaves, okay? That's okay. Well, let me show you before I get into that. We'll just set that there, and then, so this one does, okay? This one, I used all of the layers, and I used the notch, and I lined everything up, okay? I did the 3 colors on the flower. I did do the detail. I think I like no detail better. Not sure. I could even use like a speckled stamp from somewhere and put my own dots in. I may try that. Haven't tried that yet. But these leaves, I felt like they were too spread out. They were too far out from the original stencil. So that's why I'm saying that the leaf stencil is one you don't have to use out like that. You can pull in, like say I want a leaf in here closer. I can just take this leaf and see where it is, okay? I can grab my Granny Apple Green. And put a little bit of green there. Then I can grab my garden green, which is a much deeper green. And I can come in, and I'm going to try and sort of stay to one side so it gets sort of shadowy on one side and stays kind of light on the other. Okay, see how I did that? Now, I could add one up here with this curly leaf. I could come in here, and again, and I'm not even going to add any more Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to use what's on the blending brush for the moment. And then come in. There we go. I think I like that. And then add another leaf. Okay. I could add another skinny leaf up here. Like this. And again, I'm just going to use kind of what, see, you can see that there's ink on the stencil. If I just kind of push that around like that, and then grab a little bit of the darker, I can. And that's why I'm using a smaller blending brush, so that I can kind of go just along the edges here, okay, like that. All right. Now I can see that these couple that I didn't clean the darker ink off, I kind of have gotten, these leaves have gotten a little darker. I'm okay with that, okay? What I didn't do is go from here back into my Granny Apple Green, okay? So this brush that I've been using for Granny Apple Green probably has a little bit of Garden Green on it. But you know what? That's okay. I can just rub a lot off and it'll be fine, okay? It'll be totally fine. All right, so, and I will clean that stencil really quickly off the camera here. That's why I went to go get the baby wipes and the towel. Oh, it's a very crinkly package. All right, so they just wipe off really easily. Okay, just wipe them off, and then you just need to dry it. And as long as there's no ink left on it, you could even use, like, you know, your jeans or something. But I happen to have a towel right over here, so I'm going to just dry it off over there. All right, so there's that. So let's grab a piece of paper and let's tuck those over there. Let's grab a piece of paper, and you know what? You might be able to see it better if I leave it on here. Okay. All right, so let's put the stencil on there. Okay. Now the paper is a little, here, let me use a little bit bigger one. I can always trim it down. All right, here we go. I think this is pretty much a full quarter sheet. All right. So there we go. Now let's start with Daffodil Delight. Okay. Now here's a tip, and I'm going to show you how this is going to work. All right. So I'm going to get a little daffodil, and I'm going to start in the middle. I know so many times when we're blending, oh, excuse me, I've got a little tickle in my throat. Sorry, trying to get rid of that. So often we tell you start from the edge and work your way in. Well, in this case, we want the darkest in the center, and we happen to have a little bit of our stencil right there in the middle. So we can start in the middle. Okay, so we'll start in the middle and start going, and I'm going to go both directions. Okay, and I'm going to go out right to the edges of those petals. Okay, I did stay darkest in the center, but I did go out all the way. Let me see if I can hold this and pull it up a little bit so you can see I did get all the way out there. Okay, so let's Let me grab, even though it's got writing on it, let me grab this and stick it down. That will help. Okay. All right. And then we're going to do the same sort of thing. We're going to start in the middle and head all the way out. We're doing both directions. Okay, so we get all the way out to the edges. Now, once I've done the daffodil, it's okay to go to the crushed curry, but not before I do another one if I want more than one. Okay, so if I want to do more than one in this same color range, you want to slide your paper out. You can usually line it right back up. It's not a big deal. Slide it out, slide another one in. Okay. I think I want it this way. There. Okay, then I'm going to do the daffodil on this one before I add any crushed curry to this. That way I'm not adding crushed curry into this particular blending brush, so if I want to use it later before I wash them, I don't have to worry about that. There. Okay. All right. So you heard me say wash them, right? I know there are some demonstrators, and you'll see them out there demonstrating, and they have these all labeled. And they've invested in one for every color. Great. That's what they like to do. I've seen others that say, well, it's yellow, it's close enough. I rub most of the ink off the, off to the side. I'm okay with that. And that's fine too. Okay, if you want to have one brush for sort of your yellows, that works. Okay. I am not like that. Okay. I am the kind of person that says they rinse out with water and some very mild soap. I'm going to wash mine out when I'm done, and then they'll be ready for me to use another time, whether I use them with the same color or not. Okay, so you do what works for you. Don't worry about anything else. Okay, all right, so let's close up daffodil, and we'll put that over there. We'll grab our crushed curry. And we'll add a little of that. Now, you'll see I don't go out quite as far with this. Okay, again, I'm going to start in the middle, but I'm going to stay, I'm not going out all the way to the edge of the petals, okay? I can see my dark ink is, there's not a line, but I can definitely see that I am not going as far out. Okay, I'm keeping my circles a little smaller, okay? Just going to keep those circles a little smaller. That one I think I want a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So we'll just keep that circle in a little tighter and not let the darker ink get all the way out there. Okay, so now you see why I chose to use a smaller brush on the pumpkin pie. All right, so let's very carefully not move the stencil too much. Let's tuck that out of the way. Oh, and see the difference? Can you see that? How just that extra little bit of darker color is so pretty. Now you could probably, even if you only had daffodil ink, let's just say that that's the only yellow you have, okay? If you went back and did more with the daffodil, you could probably get a darker color around the center. All right, it might take you a while to build up the layers, but you could do it. All right, so let's tuck that one over there. Let me just stand up a second. And you'll see that it's not terribly hard to line these back up. All right. A little bit, but not terribly hard. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'll add the crushed curry on this one as well. So then you just want to do all of your lighter colors before, you know, like do as many as you're planning. So if you're doing several of these in the same color combination or something, you want to do all your light ones and then move. Otherwise, you're going to have to clean your stencil in between each layer. All right. All right, so now we've got our crushed curry taken care of. So now I'm going to add the pumpkin pie. I'm going to, again, start here in the middle, and I'm going to keep this real tight, all right? I'm not going very far, because I want to see pretty much shades of all three colors. So I'm keeping that pumpkin pie in really close, okay? Really close. Like that. Now, I think I'm not going to take the time to line that other one up right now. I just think it'll be easier if I don't. But I do want to clean this. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love those colors. But before we get too far, what if you don't want sunflower colors? Well, there's nothing that says you have to have sunflower colors, okay? You can have pink daisies if you want. And these can be daisies. They're petally kind of flowers. They can be whatever you want. So for this one, I'm going to start with Bubble Bath. Okay. I'm just going to grab, and Bubble Bath is pretty light, so I'm going to need quite a bit of ink on here, and I'm going to go ahead and again go all the way out to the edges of the petals, go both directions, so I'm getting, okay, oh, I gotta let go of that just for a second. Okay, like that, and go back over here. So I can get them as kind of as dark as I want, because the next color I'm going to choose to use is Berry Burst, and that's from the Brights. That is a nice strong color, you guys, so it's not gonna, yeah, I like that. All right, so because this is so light, and because Berry Burst is so dark, I have no problem taking a little bit, and I don't need nearly as much Berry Burst, okay, because I'm not going to go out as far. So again, I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm just going to give those a little bit. Oop, that one. See, I should have used a smaller one there, because that one I almost covered, which is unfortunate. Okay. Look at that. Now, I could leave those centers that dark, that light, almost white, or I could just take some of that Berry Burst right off of my, rubbed quite a lot of it off over onto my scrap paper over there. And then I will just rub that around in the middle and just sort of soften that. Do you see how I did that? It's not real strong, but it definitely is less white. It's not as stark, I guess. Okay. So we have that. So that's one way to do that. You could bring in the centers, and you could even, I could have done them in yellow. Okay. So I could bring the centers in like this, and I could add yellow centers if I wanted. Okay. I didn't think I really wanted to do that. All right. So lots of, yeah, I'm gonna just clean that real quick so we can use the other color for the sunflowers. So anyway, now that this is pink, I have to wash it or something to, wash it before I use it again. All right, so let's go to this one and see how easy it is to line those up. So even without the notches, really it's okay. All right, I'm just gonna kind of fidget that around a little bit. I'm gonna grab pecan pie, and I'm gonna choose not to use the center, the detail for the center, but I am going to start at one edge so that the centers are darker on one edge than they are for the rest. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. I'm going to start right over here, and I'm going to give this quite a lot of ink before I go this way. All right, so over here I have quite a lot of dark, all right, and it's very light on the other side. So let me show you that again. And for some reason, and it's probably because that's how nature is, I mean, you don't see flat color, you see shadow, you see highlights and things when you're out in nature. So it's more pleasant to the eye to have those shades of color, okay? So I'm just going to give that a little more right there at the edge, okay? Whoops. Whoops, whoops. Here we are. So I'm going to just really work pretty hard at that one edge and then keep it real light on the other side. So let me show you what that looks like. See how pretty that is? Where it's dark at one edge and lighter at the other edge. Right? All right. I'm going to put centers in this one. This may be my test to see what happens if I go to my stamp sets and find a little speckly kind of stamp and use that. Okay. And see how that looks. All right. There we go. All right. So I may put these stencils back and stamp through them with a speckly kind of stamp to see what that looks like. And I will show that to you later. So we have a lot of dirty masks, right, or stencils. I will be using that word interchangeably because it is what it is. All right, so let's think about our leaves. My favorite leaf is this nice big one. My second favorite leaf is this one. This one, not so much. It's okay, and it serves a purpose. They do sort of curl a bit, and you do get that sort of look. It's really hard to ink it in a way that highlights and shadows where I want it. Now, if I were using my blends markers or something through these stencils, that might be different. And that I have not tried. All right, so let me just run down my tips. So lining up the notches is one way to do it and really does help in certain situations, okay? If you're doing a lot in similar colors, do all the lightest color and stuff before you know, just slip the paper in under the mask before you do any darker colors. The smaller brushes are great for those darker colors where you're not going out quite as far, okay? And then you can space these leaves wherever you want. Okay, so I'm gonna, I think, put one of these nice big leaves right here. So I'm going to get both colors out and try to go back and forth between the two colors. So I'm not sure if these are in your camera range or not, but they're in my camera range, in your view. But I do have Granny Apple Green here. And then I also have Garden Green. Okay. Like that. And then I can do another big leaf up here. Okay. I'm going to grab that Granny Apple Green, add a little bit more, like that. And then grab a little Garden Green and hit it right along the edge. Okay, like that. Now I could add over here one of the little ones. Okay. Like this. Okay, so you don't have to, and I can do a little one up here, right? And I might not even use the Granny Apple on this one. I might go just dark because it's kind of up where it could be a little bit in the shade of one of the blossoms or something. Now I could even tuck a little one in here and have it be kind of faded and sort of in the background, okay? Just kind of taking up a little of that white space. I think that's pretty good. Might put one more small one down here. Like that. Really like those. So then, now that if you've done all your blending, now you're ready to make a card, right? Oh boy, do I have a mess to clean up before I go home. Whew. All right, how are we doing? Oh, we're getting a little past our half an hour. I like to try and keep things in close, but it's okay. All right, so let's see how we do making a card. All right, so here is that houndstooth. Now I put the mask or the stencil right on, and I taped it down so that it wouldn't go beyond the front of the card. Okay, but I knew that this part was going to get covered up. So I didn't need to spend the time doing the edge. All right, I actually did more than I intended to, but that's okay. So then we can see, I really only needed to do a tiny bit. That's okay. And I'm going to have to trim this just a smidge to get that to fit on there correctly. All right, good thing my trimmer's right here. It's buried, but it's here. Okay. So this is 3 3/4 by 5, this one. Which means this needs to be 4 3/4. But I think I'm going to take a little off the top and a little off the bottom so I don't lose a whole lot off of either end. That's a little bit better. Okay. All right. There. Okay. And I don't have a stamp set out here. And I don't want to take the time to go get one. What I probably will use is from the Darling Details or Darling something. And there's a really pretty little scripty happy birthday that I will probably do in pecan pie ink right there. Okay, so let's just put this together. If I can find, oh, there's my adhesive buried under the towel. See, when you change things up, things get buried. Okay, so we'll put this on first. Like that. Then we'll add this. And there we go. All right. So there you have it. Now, if you're dying to try some of these masks or stencils and you aren't really happy that you have to wait until September 6th to even order them, never mind get them, there's two things you can do. One is join my team and you can add these products to your starter kit. If you need to know more about that, make sure you ask me. The other thing is you could use, there's 2 sets of decorative masks in the current annual catalog on page 136. This particular artistic mix one is item number 159178. Okay. And let me, since these are dark, they'll show up against my placemat. Whoa. Okay. I think I just lost a piece. Anyway, we have this, which can go, like you can do 2 layers. You could do this first. All right, hang on. I know. Let me just grab a piece of paper and show you real quick. Okay. All right. So you have this, right? And let me show you with a couple of colors of yellow or yellow and something else. All right. So let's just see. Oh, I can get a little bit. Okay. So I can come down. All right. So I'm just using what's left on my daffodil brush. And I'm just getting a little bit of color. I'm not even really trying to do the whole thing. I am kind of working my way, so we'll get sort of an ombre look diagonally, okay? So we have a little bit. It's very light. But then you can line this up in those little places. Hang on. Like this, I think. think that might work. And then we'll grab this and we'll do the same sort of thing with the pumpkin pie. Like that. And then you can have, can you see that? Isn't that pretty? And then that could be just the first layer, and then you could stamp something stronger over it. You could, you know, anyway, there's that. There's also a plaid. There's also the second layer of, actually 2 layers of plaid. So you could do first layer and then more details over the top. Okay. And then there's these 2 label pieces. And you could even use, and I think the rectangle, yep. Well, it's not exactly a rectangle. It has these little corners nudged out of there. You can even, which is kind of cool, use these. So let me grab this, and you can go around the edge like this. Probably getting very inky. And now you've got the negative. So those pieces are there as well. So lots of fun with masks and things, and I'm glad that you guys were here to enjoy this. Be sure to share it or like it or all of those things. That all helps me. And thanks for hanging in, and have a great night. And I will see you next week on the 22nd. We'll have some more fun. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.